watch it, but I listen. I have my roommate who's a. Are we going live?
Sure.
Okay. Should I introduce everyone? Okay. This is the Meltdown with JJ Liberman. Today's guest is Ali Hassan. You've probably seen him on the panel for Strombo Tonight on CBC. Well, let's get into it. What have you been up to this summer?
Well, I was engulfed in fear a few seconds ago as you spoke to me about the possibility of World War III. So that kind of ruined my summer, to be quite honest. Nobody's really said that all summer to me. But besides that, I've been reacquainting myself with my children. Mm-hmm. They forgot a little bit about who Papa was, and then this summer was a nice break. I was in Montreal just for laughs. I was in Ottawa for a couple weeks at a time. It was a really great time, man. Yeah, it was a really, really great time. You just get to see the world's best comedians doing what they do best.
Were you on the gala?
I wasn't. Last year I was in the festival in about like 11 shows.
Really?
From like a small tent to, a little theater in Place des Arts. Mm-hmm. I was opening for Maz Jobrani, and I had some great shows last year. And this year, I mean, I used to live in Montreal, so I just go. Whether I'm there, whether I'm not there, I just go back and I get, recharged.
So it's over a 2-week period, right?
It's over 2 weeks, yeah. I would say 10 days is like the meat of it, but it spans about 3 weeks if you include Juste pour rire, and I think they start the nasty shows a little earlier.
Right, I actually saw... I'm new to comedy, so I just saw the Nasty Show from last year, and Mike Wilmot, who I'm sure you know,
of course,
well. And then I think Bob Saget was emceeing it.
Yeah,
but that's so cool. So what would you do? Like a couple shows a night? Is that how it worked out?
Last year, yeah. I mean, once you're there, then they put you in like, hey, we got this show in a tent. Tentacool, it's a air-conditioned tent, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to refuse that. That's a thing, people are going to that. And then my buddy Dave Merhej, who you'll presumably have on, hopefully have on, right? I know you've got your eyes set on him being here. I opened for his show, which was a one-man show, so I hosted it.
So they have some good crowds though?
They do. I mean, it's just flooded with people because Montreal, in the summer there's Jazz Fest and then there's Comedy Fest, the Just for Laughs Festival. People are just there.
It's funny because when I watch, I guess it's the more clean, I think 5 to 7 they show on the Comedy Network where they don't curse or anything.
In the Nasty Show?
No, not in the Nasty Show. When they do the hour show during the day.
Yes. Those are from the galas.
The crowd looks very, it looks more middle-aged, conservative. Yeah. So I'd always find it interesting, but I guess there's so many different venues that
there are. I mean, what you're watching there, those are the galas. Those are like probably somewhere between $60 and $80 tickets. Okay. Plus, if you're sitting ground floor and close. Right. So, yeah, those are the people with money. Those are people 30 and up at least.
Right.
But yeah, no. There's something for every age over 18. There is, and there's not a lot of ID checking going on in Montreal.
And it's just one part. I guess it's someone referred to it as kind of like where all the comedians stay. It's the Olympic Village. Yeah,
sure. The Hyatt is exactly like that.
Right, but that's the funny thing because I know with the athletes, I heard stories because I grew up playing baseball and I was around guys. I used to train at a place in Arizona where there would be Olympic athletes, and I'd hear, going into the Olympics, everyone was training so hard, they're so clean, but once they did their event, they're done. Like, people are just having sex and everything. Yeah. But with comedians, you don't have to worry. You can start right away. Right?
Yeah. Sure enough. You hang out for an afternoon at the Hyatt, and you really see it's a real cast of characters. The other day I don't know if you know who John Mulaney is. He arrived from the airport, and he's trying to check in, and Todd Glass is behind him just yelling, "My name is John Mulaney. I'm a really big deal. Nobody look directly at me." It's just crazy characters.
It's just comedians. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's what I love about the industry. But so Strombo starting up when
Strombo will start mid-September. Right now, what they have is it's a real top-heavy season in the sense that they start the season when TIFF starts. Okay. So it's a time where there's again, the world's best directors and producers and actors are all in town. So whenever they can bring them in, they'll bring them in for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and have these interviews with them. And then they'll bank those interviews and they play them over the season.
Okay.
So right now they are doing multiple, 10 to 20 interviews a day if they possibly can.
So do you, when you guys do the comedy panel, is that the same, do they air, because I know there's where he does the one-on-one interview, but are you guys there? Or how does that happen?
We're usually in a green room.
Okay.
We're usually in the back. One time I asked my producer, I was like, hey man, this guy Imran Khan is coming in. He is like the possible hope for Pakistan, the one ray of light of the country that my parents hail from.
Yeah.
I'd love to just go shake his hand and say hi. He was a big cricket batsman, one of the bowler. Sorry, he was one of the most revered athletes in South Asia, and a very handsome, charming man. And I was like, I'd love to go say hi to this guy. And my producer was like, no, we don't.
Oh, so they don't.
They don't want, because if I do it, then there'll be like 10 other guys trying to get in his way. So he goes, that's not even a CBC thing. That's their handlers and their producers, their assistants who are like, please make sure that this particular guest is not bothered. But you're in the makeup room with them sometimes. So I got to chat with Cal Penn, just because we were there at the same time. Got to say hi to Ron McLean. Got to say hi to a bunch of different people. Sometimes you just can't. I would have loved to say hi to Judd Apatow.
Yeah,
who was on the show, but we were just, the timing was different. We were upstairs.
Now, what about, I find it interesting, because I'm trying to be an aspiring actor, aspiring comedian.
Of course.
I did my first show on, as you know, on Gillette Drafted on Sportsnet 360. So, for me, it's so, getting in studio, doing that, the week of filming, there's like a sexiness now. Maybe it just wears off eventually.
It does wear off, and you also don't, you're trying to bring a sense of professionalism to what you're doing. So you don't want to be that guy lurking in the halls like, hi, sir, can I have an autograph? Like, who let this guy in? No, I work on the show. You're like, it's a bit too nerdy,
It's funny because my best friend's in the big leagues. And there's a lot of people who are autographers that collect players, coaches.
Well, outside of the, I used to see that every single morning. Right beside the CBC building is the Ritz-Carlton, where all the hockey players stay. And they're these guys who are lined up for autographs, but they're not like I was when I was a kid. Like, oh, maybe I'll get to see Sidney Crosby. They have a. It's absolutely something like these are psychopaths. They're just like, must see this guy, need this for the collection, need to do this. It's all calculated. I'm like, where's the fun? Where's the love you have as a child?
Before my buddy got into the big leagues, when we were still pursuing our dreams in baseball, which obviously didn't work out, he was going to Ritz-Carlton hotels. And one time he called me. I'm a night owl. He called me at about 1:30 in the morning. He's like, I'm gonna pick you up in 20 minutes. We're in Scottsdale. I said, where are we going? I thought we might go to the casino because we're degenerate gamblers too. He said, he's get in the car. We get in the car. We go to the Ritz-Carlton in Phoenix. And he has all the Shaquille O'Neal. The Lakers were in town, and at 3 a.m. they know when they're flying into town. And at 3 a.m. the bus pulls in, and Shaq walks out of the bus, and he looks over and he sees there's about 5, 6 of these autographers. It's just not one person. There's like multiple people, and he just yells, "Get over here!" And everyone sprints over, and he starts signing. So it's just a really interesting dynamic. From how people are, but I guess they would wait too, maybe outside the Strombo show, depending who's on. The
one and only time I did that was when Team Canada was playing in Montreal. We were outside the Forum, and my buddy was just like, let's go get autographs. And I had Wayne Gretzky's autograph on this dirty piece of paper. I was like, I didn't even come with a pad of paper. I was so unprepared. I was like, what's he going to sign? And my buddy was like, what are you going to do, open your shirt and have him? So you got to get some paper. So I just asked some other guy there, can I have a few sheets of paper? So one of my favorite players ever was Scott Stevens from the Devils. Just a rough, just no nonsense defenseman, real guy's guy. I had Scott Stevens, I had Wayne Gretzky. I can't even remember who else I had. But I don't know. That was the last time, and then for some reason, not to say that I'm anything incredibly special, but I just feel like all these guys, their shit stinks. They put their pants on one leg at a time. They're just normal guys. And I haven't been starstruck in a long time. And I wonder what that's all about. But I like to treat everybody like they're a normal person. Once Samuel Jackson was at a club. And I was like, hey, man. And then afterwards, I remember thinking, like, what was that? Why did I go interrupt his dinner and his conversation with this girl? Why did I feel the need to do that? I don't get why would I do it. And he even looked at me like, what? That's exactly what he did.
Could you imagine though being like someone Samuel L. Jackson. Everywhere he go, I mean, he's iconic, right?
Yeah.
And everywhere he goes. I mean, that's probably the cool thing about coming into Toronto, because I know there is a paparazzi, but it's nothing like New York or LA. And I'm sure athletes, I bet even Toronto Maple Leaf players, as big as a hockey town it is, I bet it's nothing like Montreal, where it's not, I don't know, it just seems more of a laid-back, subdued culture when it comes to sports and it comes to athletes and famous people.
I think so. I mean, I can't speak to that too knowledgeably, but from what I've seen, I just feel like there's extremes. There's a laid back, like, oh yeah, look over and there's Vinny Damphousse eating at the same restaurant as you. You're like, oh, that's cool. But then there's that other extreme with that hatred where people are like, hey, you suck, man. We're paying you so much, you can't save the goal. And people are like, there's all that hate, basically what Rob Ford in Toronto goes through every single day. Yeah. I feel like Montreal athletes, there is a segment of the population that's so extreme that has this need to yell out and boo and... it's a little bit intense. It's a tough place to play hockey.
You've done some pretty cool movies. I was actually on your IMDb.
Yeah.
And you were in Goon.
Goon was one of the best things I've ever been a part of.
That's got to be like almost dream job,
right?
Well,
I'm never going to make it to there's only one way I'm going to make it a part of the hockey legend of Canada. It's not going to be on the ice, right? It's not going to be putting any goals in the net behind some goal. It's going to be in a movie that's about hockey, and that's what Of course, I was a Lebanese restaurant owner. But point is, I was in a great thing that has something to do with hockey, and it was it was a top-grossing comedy of the year. The year before, I was also in a hockey movie. On the ice, it was more like a Mighty Ducks for brown people. That's what I always tell people that movie was. Breakaway. And before that, I was in a movie called French Immersion, where, again, restaurant owner. I need the movie to have either restaurants or hockey in them. Otherwise, I won't do movies. That's in my writing.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing on your standupalley.com. Your is it self-proclaimed kitchen ninja?
Yeah, well, the guy who designed my website proclaimed that for me. And I said, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But you've done some TV with, so you're a chef, right?
That was my background. I mean, that continues to be. It's just a little difficult now to do the catering that I love to do. Right. I still love cooking, but I can't. It's tough to be in somebody's kitchen, catering for a group of 10 people, and then somebody is like, aren't you the guy from... national television? Why are you cleaning spinach leaves out of our sink? You know what I mean? I can't do that type of work anymore. Perception is a big part of this industry. Right. So my goal now is, and it actually has been, and it's the reason I got into comedy to begin with, I wanted a cooking show. I wanted a show that I could host on any network. It didn't have to be the Food Network, just a food show where I can be entertaining and I can show off my food skills. So the two things I love, if I can combine those, that's my dream job. So once I get that, then I can clean spinach out of people.
Well, one of my favorite shows is Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Sure.
And Guy Fieri, I think that's how you say his last name. But he's entertaining, but he's not there's a different kind of when you're hanging around. I notice that when I'm at shows, when people, whether it's after the show, there's funny people, but then there's comedians who are extremely funny. So when you'd be probably more entertaining watching because that's what you do. You're a comedian. Yeah, and I think that would be.
I would like to believe that. I would like to believe that.
But that's something I would think is so cool. I don't know if it's a Canadian or if you need to do it in the U.S. I mean, would you ever? But you have a family here, right?
I do, but I mean, if it was a 3-month run, where we could do something and just have that sort of. As part of my portfolio, and I had to spend 3 months away from the family. I mean, that's John Catucci, who is a great comedian, part of the Doo-Wops originally. He hosts a similar show to Guy Fieri's here in Canada called You Gotta Eat Here.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never seen it.
So he literally 3 months away from his family doesn't see them, but at the same time, he's able to.
Are you friends with him?
I am friends with him.
So what does he do? Go across Canada?
Yeah, he goes across Canada.
He's like a king.
And so he's like in Thunder Bay, and then the schedule is like, hey, we're moving on to Manitoba, and we're gonna go, and we're moving on to this place in southern Manitoba, and then we're gonna move westward. So there's no, you've got a big team of people doing all the hotel booking, venue booking, scouting, all that kind of stuff that we just don't totally as a viewer take for granted. That team is moving like westward or eastward, and you're part of that team. You're the face of that team. You can't be like, guys, I'm gonna go back home. I miss my son. You know, you're part of it. And
getting paid to eat has got to be the best life.
Yeah.
Like you just go eat. Okay, not only are we feeding you, we're gonna pay you for this, and you're gonna get national recognition. I mean, what a tough life. Like that's what I'd want to do. Just get paid to eat. I wouldn't even have to be a comedian. I would just say, okay, if you're gonna pay me, great.
Sure. Well, I saw there's another job that I once considered my dream job. A guy named Kevin Broch had a show called The Thirsty Traveler. International show, getting paid to drink in Iceland.
Oh,
in
alcohol, obviously.
Alcohol.
Yeah,
all
right,
alcohol.
yeah.
But you saw him when they would include the outtakes, which they wouldn't do often, and I wish they would. He's just like keeled over because some Romanian gypsies gave him some moonshine that they drink first thing in the morning, and he's like, oh my God, this is not as easy as it looks, this job. Oh God, he's just keeled over, and they don't show him vomiting, but you know, it's imminent. It's about to happen.
That would be
and it was a beautiful moment. Like a real moment of that show.
Yeah, right. You know, how much that should be a show. How much can you hold, right? And just see, you know, so many people would watch us. So relatable.
Absolutely.
Because everyone's gone drunk. Let's see how shit-faced you can get today without puking. And then if you do it constantly until like from the start of the bar opening to the end of the night, and it's your show until you lose it, and then let's bring in the next person. Once you puke, you're done, and let's bring in the next person.
You're onto something. I mean, we watch people eat hot dogs by the dozens, right? We watch people eat spicy food. Maybe you want to edit this chunk out and just be like, "Hey, man, this is my." But
that's a great idea because even if it wasn't, there's a show. Oh, geez, I love watching. I don't know if you watch late night. Do you watch late night? Well, you're late night.
I'm out, but yeah, I try to.
But I love Fallon. I used to hate Fallon.
Fallon, he took it like, but you know, Conan said that from the beginning. He's like, you watch my early episodes, very difficult to watch.
Really?
People were like, what is this guy doing? You're just finding. It's not like anyone's coming from their late night career to another late night show. It's a brand new format for all of these guys.
Right. So you're still
even
trying to find
Letterman.
your
Letterman
voice.
was a comedian. So you're like, how do I fit here? How do I make this entertaining? How do I? Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's
it's finding
interesting.
your voice.
Finding your voice.
It took him a little time. His voice was just filled with laughter. He's got Tina Fey on in the first week. I think it was Cosby, and he's like starstruck, and he's giggling and laughing like a child. And I remember thinking, buddy, get it together. This is not, you're not coming off as much of a host. But he has really come into his own skin, and I totally agree with you. He's great.
I find him so entertaining. I forget now what I was saying because it's true. That's what he's just his laugh even he's just so infectious just as a whole to watch him on TV. But I mean, he had someone on there talking about they drink and then they reenact stories. I forget.
Drunken History.
That's what it was. Drunken History. Where I don't know. I forget the premise is where they have a story. What happened in history? They drink, and they retell it. And it's not even close.
Yeah.
But if we could do a YouTube channel, a YouTube series about, you know, let's see how far you can make it and just get different. There's so many people that would be lining up. Yeah, you're going to pay for my beers tonight? Yeah, I can prove you wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure we could get a heavyweight. The heavyweight would go viral. Yeah, I think it'd be a great show. I don't know.
Too. No, you've convinced yourself and anybody listening. I think that would be a great show.
Right. I think we're live stream right now. So,
okay.
So there's, well, here's a good thing about live stream. Considering this is the first live stream, there might be a few people watching. There might not be. If nobody's watching, then great. We edit it out and we start this. And
you mean that camera's on? Come on, guys.
Well, it's funny because you did say about makeup. So you got to do the makeup when you do TV. That's what I didn't know about going into with Sportsnet is the makeup. That is the worst. That's the most. I guess. I didn't feel like a man anymore. I felt like, you know, they're just powdering up, and I looked I looked good. I looked decent in real life, but I looked much better than I should look. And it's just covering up all my because I guess everything's HD right now, right?
Sure.
So they don't want to like zoom into your imperfections, but
I mean, I've seen everybody get makeup, but some of these people come in and you're almost like, oh, it's you? And then after they get out of the makeup chair, they're like, now you look like the guy I know. So you just realize that, everything this person has done, whether it be on stage or it be like whatever, an improv show or anything. If anything is televised, they're getting makeup.
I want to, yeah. That's interesting stuff. That's been so cool just talking with you. I mean, I'm sure we could go on much longer and maybe get you back soon.
Sure, man.
But that was really fun. Really appreciate you coming in. Check them out also on your Twitter, Stand Up Ali.
Yes.
Standupali.com. And Strombo Tonight, starting again in September. I really appreciate Ali Hassan's time. Check them out, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's JJ Liberman, The Meltdown. See you next time.